Baby-proofing your home can feel like an overwhelming task, but it doesn't have to be. So in today's video, I am going to break down every single thing that you need to do to make your house a safer place for your little one when they start to crawl and when they start to walk. And yes, I know babies don't actually get mobile until around 6 months old, but I promise you want to get a head start on this so that you don't find yourself stressed out trying to baby-proof while also taking care of a new baby. This is especially true if you have a toddler running around. Because trust me, they are little explorers and they will get into anything. I am going to break down everything on my list by rooms, so stick with me. Let's get started. First up, we have safety gates. If you have stairs in your house, then you're going to want to get stair gates ASAP. Ideally, you want to place them at the top and the bottom of the staircase, just to prevent any accidents. Make sure that the gate is the right height and width. You want to make sure that it's tall enough that your little one can't climb over it, and you want to make sure that it's wide enough that it covers the full width of the staircase. Next, you want to think about furniture. Any furniture that has a drop of 39 inches or more needs to be anchored to the wall. So that means dressers, bookshelves, TVs, anything that could potentially tip over. There are several different ways that you can secure furniture to the walls. You can use straps, you can use brackets, or you can use anchors. My husband and I have actually done a combination of all three to anchor our bookshelves, our TV, and our dresser. We've used straps behind the bookshelves, we've used brackets behind the TV, and we've used anchors and a strap to secure our dresser. I did a whole video showing exactly how we secured all of this furniture to the walls. You can check that out here. You also want to avoid placing furniture with sharp edges near electrical outlets. You might even want to go so far as to cover those electrical outlets. So outlet covers are definitely something that you're going to want to consider. Alright, let's move into the nursery. Because there are a lot of things that you need to do in here before your baby is ready to come home. First things first, you want to follow these guidelines. When it comes to the placement of the crib, it should be placed away from windows, curtains, and anything else that could potentially pose a strangulation hazard. Also, the crib should be placed away from furniture that could fall, tip, or pull over. Speaking of falling, you never want to place the crib on a raised surface or platform. Cribs should always be placed on the floor. And finally, you want to make sure that there are no loose or dangling cords in the area. And this includes blinds. You might even want to take the blinds down completely if they're within reach of your baby. The other thing you want to do is get rid of any small parts that could pose a choking hazard. So that includes things like toys, jewelry, hair accessories. You really want to clean out those drawers and make sure that nothing is left in there that your baby could get their hands on. Lastly, make sure that you can easily open and close the crib. So if you have a four-sided crib, make sure that you're able to do that comfortably with your arm and your hand. You don't want to have to do gymnastics just to get into your baby's crib. Alright, now let's move into the kitchen. You want to start by installing locks on all of your cabinets. This includes your pantry, your oven, anywhere that your baby may try to reach. You also want to turn the knobs on your stove so that they face the back of the stove. That way, your baby can't reach them. You also want to check the handles of your pots and pans and make sure that they can't be pulled off. So what I like to do is I like to put these little rubber covers over the pot handles. They're dishwasher safe and they just slide right on. Then you also want to check any high chairs that you may have and make sure that they are stable and they won't tip over. You want to avoid using a high chair that has wheels because those can easily roll away. You also want to avoid using a high chair that has an adjustable height because you know that your baby is going to try to adjust that height. And lastly, you want to check your trash cans and recycling bins to make sure that they can't tip over. I have 2 recycling bins and one of them definitely posed a tipping hazard. So what I did was I went to the hardware store and I got some double-sided sticky Velcro strips and I stuck those to the bottom of the bin and to the floor just to prevent it from sliding and tipping over. In the bathroom, you want to keep the toilet lid closed at all times. So get yourself a toilet seat. That makes that easier. You could also use a toilet lock. Or you could just simply tape the toilet seat closed. That would work too. The next thing you want to do is buy an anti-slip mat for your bathtub. Babies are going to be slippery little creatures, and you want to make sure that they don't fall and hurt themselves. Another thing you want to do is make sure that your trash cans and recycling bins are not within reach of your baby. I'm currently in the process of doing this in our house because I have a recycling bin that has wheels, and it definitely poses a hazard. So we'll see how my Velcro trick works for this particular situation. And finally, you want to put all of your medicines and cleaning supplies out of reach. You should never leave those within reach of your baby or your toddler. You should always store those up high and preferably in a locked cabinet. Now let's move into the living room. The first thing you want to do is check your furniture. Again, Any furniture that has a drop of 39 inches or more needs to be anchored to the wall. And again, that includes bookshelves, TVs, anything that could potentially tip over. The next thing you want to do is get rid of anything that could pose a choking hazard. So that includes things like coins, batteries, small toys, jewelry. You want to do a thorough check and make sure that nothing is lying around that your baby could get their little hands on. The next thing you want to do is check any cords that may be hanging from your curtains or your blinds. You want to make sure that these are out of reach because babies love to pull on things, and they could end up strangling themselves. You also want to make sure that your garbage cans and recycling bins are out of reach, because you know your little one is going to be curious, and they're going to want to get into everything. And the last thing you want to do in your living room is secure your fireplace. If you have a fireplace, you want to make sure that it's either covered or blocked off, because babies and toddlers love to explore, and they will put their hands in there if given the opportunity. Okay, next up is your laundry room. If you have a washer and dryer, you want to make sure that those are locked up at all times. I've actually seen some cool products where you can put a lock on your washer and dryer, so that's something that you may want to look into. I'm personally not using those because I found another solution. What I've done is I've put hooks in the wall to hang my laundry baskets and my cleaning supplies. That way I can keep everything out of reach of my baby. And lastly, let's talk about the garage. Most of the things in your garage are probably fine, but you want to check for any poisonous plants and get rid of those. The one other thing you want to do is lock up your garage and make sure that it's completely inaccessible to your baby or your toddler. It's a good idea to check your garage door to make sure that it won't come down on your little one. So you can actually purchase a garage door keypad that has a manual override, so that way you can hold the button and keep the garage door from closing on your little one. So that is everything that you need to do to make your house a safer place for your baby. Remember, you don't have to do everything all at once. Take your time and do it as you go. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.